Good evening. Welcome to episode 1 of Classic Touring Cars Racing Club TV. That's right, we're now going to be doing a monthly show all about you guys, the Classic Touring Car Racing Club. Let me put the relevant banner up as well. Goodness me, let's get the whole thing going. But what you will be pleased to relieve is that the show isn't about me. I'm not important. At the end of the day, it is all about you guys. And it goes without saying, we got to bring the big dog in himself. And it is your chairman. Let's flick it around so that you've got the main one. It's Stuart Caie. Hello, mate.
Evening, mate. How we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. This is your brainchild, in all honesty, mate. But this is episode 1. And you're even doing this, still recovering from COVID.
I am indeed, yes. You've just dragged me from my deathbed. I've asked the priest to go home. And here we are. I'm still sweating. But yeah, we're all right. We're just about alive. So yeah. It's quite something, COVID, but there we are.
Yeah, I know that we were chatting about, there's people who go, oh, it's just a cold, and we both discussed having suffered quite badly. It's a bit more than that, to be fair, isn't it? Your good lady's got it now as well, hasn't she?
She has, yeah, she has. It's not good. I tell you, it's not good at all. But anyway.
I'm glad to see that you're back living. You're up, because as you say, it's about 3 days where you couldn't even get up, and I recall that. It is bad. Listen, everybody that's watching, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, questions, comments, everything, put them in there, because it's all about this being an interactive show. If you put comments or questions in there, I'm able to see those on my screen here, and we can put them up. If I just give you for instance, it will pop up like this with your profile image, your name, and what your comments are or questions are. So please do it. This is an interactive, fun show that's going to grow month on month, I think is fair to say, isn't it, Stuart? That's the plan.
Yeah, the plan. I'd seen. To be honest with you, I wanted to try and take the media with the club to the kind of next level. We send a lot of emails out to people, and then when we're in the paddock, I said, "Did you not read the hot news?" It's like, no, I don't read that old rubbish. And it's like, all right, well, look, how about we try and do this show and explain to people what's going on, explain to people what's going to happen, and hopefully everyone will know, what's going on going forward, basically.
And it's a perfect idea. I know that the plan was we were going to do it last week as a preview heading into the season opener at Silverstone, but a mixture of being the season opener, you were getting swamped, and secondly, you were clearly already starting to come down with something, and it was just like, right, let's delay it a week, let's do it as a review and a sort of launch of the show. But the plan is that we will have we haven't decided what day we're going to do it yet, but that weekend, the week leading into the Brands Hatch weekend, which is what, 22nd, 23rd of April?
It's around that sort of time, yeah.
So it will be the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week that we'll do something else. Good to see already. We got someone coming in, Elliot Harris. Evening, Dawesy. Hope you're well, refreshed with the gin. You didn't tell me I couldn't have gins on this show, mate.
You're always welcome to drink on this show. You know
that's
that.
All right then. That's all right then. And as you know from when anybody that was at the awards found out that I am a semi-professional drinker, so it's fine.
I'd go a bit more than semi-professional, but yeah.
Well, the adrenaline kept me going, mate. The adrenaline kept me going.
Yeah.
One of your drivers, AJ Owen, great idea. And the legend, Mr. Dawes, thank you. Bless you, mate. Bless you. You're supposed to say the legend, the big dog. It's your boss that's
No, it's Mr. Dawes. You're carrying us all along now. I told you. You come to the dinner dance and that's it. It's Hotel California. You can never leave.
Mate, I don't want to. I don't want to. I absolutely adore it. Just picking up on AJ Owen with his comment there. I got to say, I saw this wonderful video, and I think he shared it as well. The weather on the weekend.
He was sliding along,
but he just suddenly enter stage right, exit stage left, fully side on, like a hooligan going around a roundabout, basically, didn't he?
Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? I was watching the stream go, bloody hell.
It was so good. Make sure you hit like and share and everything, by the way. I can see, for example, thank you for the like, Kevin Swan. Good man, welcome, and make sure you're enjoying it. I know that this will grow sort of as we get these things going regularly. The plan is somewhere along the lines, Stu, I think we were talking about having guests probably to sort of...
Yeah. I think as we go on, this was just one of the little ideas I had one afternoon. God knows why, which is when I
They
contacted.
normally get sealed up, those ideas you have in afternoons, mate.
And I just thought, so going forward, we'll have guests with us, and from different championships, and sort of bring everybody on and make it part. I'd want the whole club to be part of this, and people to know who each other are. It's always difficult. I was thinking before the show was, people don't know who I am, and I'm in the paddock, because when you're at a race meeting, you're running around everywhere. I'm most often racing the car when I actually get around to doing it. And for us I want to bring on people from the committee, the coordinators, and the other drivers, just so people put names to faces a little bit, and make it all more. You're more inclusive in something rather than just turning up, paying your money, racing, going home, and you don't know who anybody is.
I agree. I genuinely do, and I mean, you're an example of that to me. Is that I remember I was going back a little while now, and I was commentating on a bike meet at Silverstone that included you guys there, and I was supposed to meet you in the garages, and I suddenly went, I have no idea what you look like, and as it turned out, I don't think you were there. But even when at the awards, and I was due to meet with you to sort of finalise I was proper diva, wasn't I? And I was like, I've got to make sure that the room's set up how I like it as well. And I was like, am I going to remember you? But as soon as I walked around the corner, I did, to be fair. But it is a great opportunity.
6'4" fat bloke.
Make it 6'3", and I'd be the same. Good to see the likes are still coming in. Andy Mesham, Dave Luck, Kevin Swan. We've already said AJ Owen. Great guys, great to see you. Oh, and one of our Coombe faithfuls in as well, Stuart Caie, one of the. He loves his Formula Fords, does Stuart, and he's from the camp. He sits on the camp corner, the last corner onto the start-finish straight. Of course, you guys are coming to Coombe this year, aren't you, as well?
We are indeed. We're coming down in June. We're really looking forward to it. I really enjoy the Coombe outings that we have, especially the bar in the evening if they keep it open. But the race circuit's good as well, apparently. So
it's all about the priorities, mate.
And you know what? It's one of those. It's the only real, and I use this phrase. Colin hates this phrase, and so do I, which is the club meeting. I've never understood the difference between club and everything else, but there we are. We all go round and round in circles. And that is that you come up to Quarry and it's just this like wall of people, and you think, all right, I'll just put my foot on the throttle and go a bit more sideways. But
we'll all do an AJ.
But you don't generally get that a lot of other circuits, you know. It was someone once said to me the difference between club racing and professional racing was professional racing, the audience know the name of the driver, and in club racing, the driver knows the name of the audience. So I really enjoy it. As I said to you the other day, I was trying to get Coombe on the calendar last year. I do like going down there. I think it's a very good, friendly, warm, sort of warm, cozy feel about it. And I'm really looking forward to that. I know others are as well.
And I think when you were with us, what was it, 2 years ago? I think were you with us last, or?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. And because that's right, because I had you on Coombe TV, didn't I, as a preview to it.
That was it. That's just where this all sort of popped in my mind.
Absolutely.
This whole thing,
And yet the irony was, from memory, is that I wasn't actually there that weekend. I think it was coincided with American Speed Fest.
You did American Speed Fest, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one that I do every single year. And so it's like, I can't not do that. So I missed out with you guys being there. Hello, Carl Arden. You've liked it as well. Good to see you're watching as well, mate. Just quickly, we've touched on it a couple of times before we go into the weekend that's just happened, is that I've got to say, first of all, thank you for asking me to host your awards when was it?
It's January, late Jan. It was late Jan because that was the end of my dry Jan.
That's right. Yeah, it was not good timing, was it?
No,
and you stuck to it. I'll give you that, mate. You did. You stuck to it. January. Thank you for asking me to do that, and thank you for booking me again. November
this year, yes. Then this year, we're looking at trying to do it in November this year.
Yeah.
It was great. We loved having you there. It was a different. I was quite nervous during the day, as you know, about certain elements of it. And actually you went with it. I thought it was brilliant because it just turned into complete carnage, and it's kind of what we're about. There wasn't one person who had a bad word to say about that night, and everybody loved it. And I saw you in the morning at 10 o'clock, and it looked like you'd enjoyed yourself as well.
I had, mate. I was up till the wee hours. I must be honest. And it wasn't forced. It was so natural. And I have to say, it was an absolute pleasure to be part of. The spirit through the awards, and it was a massive crowd you have there. I've got to applaud you on that. The size of the audience there was massive and really, really good. Such great spirit. I mean, and I knew that you were going to do this when you told me that when I walked in and there was those not toy cars, like push cars,
the push along cars, yeah. Yep.
And that it's the common thing that a race happens round the outside of the room of the champions and it becomes Race of Champions. As soon as that was said, I knew that this was going to be my kind of night, and I knew that I could just go for it.
Do whatever you wanted.
One of your guys, was it Steve, that wanted to do a sing along?
Oh, yes.
And you were like, don't do it.
Don't do it. And then you just did it. And then the thing is that a bottle of red wine later, and everybody was standing up singing along. So yeah, it was,
exactly. But it was on the cards whether that was going to happen, and I just sensed the room, and I went, do you know what? It's going to work. Do you notice how he nearly backed out himself though once I got it going?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He was up and he went, shall I? But no, it's
we all carried on. But no, it was good. I really enjoyed it, and it was great having you there. It brought a new element to it, and long may that last.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. It really was. And compliment to you guys as a club. It really was fun. Sign racing, cracking night. Yeah, you guys did. You guys had a wonderful night. I could tell it was great to catch up with you. There was even I had there people that I knew the names of, but I'd never fully spoken to. I think they largely said the same about me, to be honest, because they'll just hear the voice normally. And it was just lovely to be part of and to be welcomed to sit down drinking in the bar after it had all finished with quite a good collection of people. Wonderful group, and I genuinely cannot wait. I think the current Mrs. Dawes, as she loves me calling her, she's probably not watching this one, so I'm safe at the moment. But it was. She'll be there hopefully this time because she missed it, didn't she? And
there was a clash, wasn't there, somewhere along the line?
There was, yeah, because I got the weekend down wrong, hadn't I, or something? I thought it was the weekend after, I think, and you went, you do know it's that one? And I went, no. The wife's busy.
It was all a bit confusing at the time, if I remember rightly.
The good news was I wasn't double booked; it was just her. So, in fairness, that was a master plan, really. You know, it's deep down. No, let it go. It's not true. Let it go. Tom Hawkins, thumbs up to you as well, mate. Good to see you. This weekend, well, before we do that, because there's a couple of bits and pieces. What's new for 2023?
The main thing for us, I think, is that we've changed the prize money. We've tried to move away from the prize money just for this year to see how this works, and look at adding start money. As wonderful as the prize money is, it felt that we're rewarding just two or three people from each championship, because that's how it works: first, second, and third. But everybody pays the same amount of money. I pay the same amount of money. I pay the entry fees, the membership, and everything. Everybody pays everything. And there's guys that were never going to win anything. But so I felt that I'd always liked the idea of start money. I grew up. My dad used to race. I come from or certainly when I was a kid, of an era of people getting start money, even if it was on the ovals or whatever. And so I just want to introduce that. Try something different. It's the same pool of money, just distributed evenly amongst everybody. We're going to start it at the Croft meeting. To be perfectly honest, to try and encourage people to drag themselves of the way to Croft. I won't for a second pretend that isn't what I knew what I was going to do, and it was like, would you go to Snetterton? Well, hang on, Snetterton. Let's do the Croft meeting because it should helpfully knock a significant amount of money off of the entry fee or whatever, and especially the price of fuel and everything at the moment. Hopefully that will help the drivers decide to come along. So yeah, that's really why we chose to do it.
Am I able to go deeper than that in terms of
Yeah, of
what
course.
it is? You know, how much was
Well,
it
to be honest with
qualifying?
you, at the moment, we're not. We're gonna. I think I'd put. I think it's £100 per driver, but so it's £50 per race. It'd be £100 off of the entry fee,
Okay.
effectively.
Wow.
But if you start both races, also as well, um, I'm terrible for this one. If I break the car on a Saturday, I just get the ump with it, and I don't. Generally don't
No, surely
generally
not, big dog.
talk to Colin, and we'll have a discussion about it for about 10 minutes, and then I'll go to the bar. Um, and I'm, but this is trying to encourage people because on Sunday we do suffer a lot of attrition. They are old cars. Some of these cars are 60+ years old, and we just try and encourage people to fix the car and bring it back out the next day because there's some money in it for them.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of that. It's difficult. I think it was difficult to see the changes that are happening at Silverstone because Silverstone for me is quite a sterile event. It's a great circuit. It's great for the people that are in it, but
Mhm.
everybody else is not a great experience. So I'm hopefully as we start to settle into the circuits, Brands next, Coombe, back to Brands for the big meeting, Croft, to see that kind of the club mentality brought back because I felt that the last few years we'd lost that with COVID. We might try and do a couple of barbecues or something if we can, if we get some caterers in or something. Just bring all that back because that's why I fell in love with the club in the first place. And sadly, COVID kind of dragged that out of it and made it very sterile. Turn up, race, go home. It's not what we're
Yeah.
about.
And that's an interesting point, actually, and it is clearly why it's Classic Touring Car Racing Club. It's not Classic Touring Car Racing Championship or or championships or whatever. It is club, and I have done a lot of work over the years with the likes of, say, the Caterham Graduates Racing Club,
Yeah.
that again is deliberately club. And I did a sort of like a promo video with them so that they could help come in, and it was very much emphasising that club spirit. So I understand
Mm.
what you're saying there, and I like the sound of that. As does I saw the thumbs up as well. Thank you for that, Kevin Granger. Love the idea of start money.
He's my number one fan, Kevin. Kevin, sorry, Kevin. That was a different band, but yeah. But yeah, that's where we're trying to go with it. Just trying to take it sort of back, and hopefully, as I said, the next few meetings you'll see that.
Oh, I like it. Nice idea. I mean, I always thought it was great that you've got prize money anyway at the end because there's not many that do it, and it makes a difference. I
And
don't
that's
like the fact that you poached our Gary Preble away, mind.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what can I say? What can I say? He's the king of Coombe still, isn't he? So
He is. I think we might see him back again this year. Thumbs up as well, Alan William Strachan. Good to see you watching with your thumbs up and like on that one. Thank you. Okay, so start money is in there. And did you say so? That's not every race meet.
no, it's not. They're just going to put it in for Croft. We're just going to see how things go.
Yeah.
All of these things, I don't want to, especially when you're effectively giving away money.
Hmm.
I've got to be as careful as I possibly can because it isn't a business; it's a club. But I just want to distribute funds evenly amongst everybody.
Yeah. And the whole point being is nobody racing as part of the club wants to see the club harm itself because then everybody loses out in
Well,
the
yeah,
end
and
anyway.
the people who entrust myself and the committee to make decisions on their behalf with their £99 and their racing, and we have to be very wary of that. It's not our money to spend, if you like.
Yeah.
And so trying to distribute it evenly, I think, was a way forward. We may revert back to maybe some prize money or look for some sponsors to cover prize money. So that money's come in from a different pool because it has helped over the last few years. But we'll see how things are.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Good to see coming in with another like Andy Abrams, another guy that I know from my neck of the woods that definitely you've got ensnared in there. It's good to see him at the awards, and it's lovely sitting down with him and his good lady for a drink beforehand when
Indeed.
I was nervous before hosting it. Which I think that surprised you as well, didn't it? That you were surprised that I was nervous. Actually, that was.
I was a bit, yeah, because you tell me that you're the expert, and then I saw you woofing down these no. It was quite like it was good, and I definitely think the 4 pints and a red bottle of red wine definitely helped you along the evening.
Oh, that's good. That means you weren't aware of some of the others. Then that's fine.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Craig Owen. I think I saw Craig. Congratulations on a victory on the weekend, because I saw AJ's post, proud son, posting about that, or certainly some silverware. It might have been second, actually, I think. Great idea, Lord Caie. It's such a friendly club. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Craig.
See, I'm not the only one that calls you the big dog. Then, Lord Caie.
I've been called a lot worse in my time. Don't worry about
that. Andy Lawrence has put a thumbs up as well, and I'm assuming that's Andy Lawrence of the Bristol Motor Club, and I'm covering a couple of their sprints live from Coombe this year on the live stream. Looking forward to that. Okay, so start money. Anything else? Oh no, we've gone from that, haven't we? Anything else that was new?
Just gone a bit off on a tangent. Drivers' briefings. Colin. There was always, I think, Colin and I, and the rest of the committee. I have to say, it was Colin and I, but we wanted to have a robust, consistent. How can I put it? Team that run the meetings, from the clerks to the scrutineers. And Colin's worked extremely hard to get that. So we've got regular people that build that rapport with each other, with the drivers, and understand who you're dealing with and when you're dealing with them. I think, again, that becomes quite clinical. And we wanted to bring that back. We did used to have constant scrutineers, and over the years that just kind of got lost in just the way the life is. So this year we've got a new clerk of the course, whose name completely escapes me at this point in time. I do apologise. And he's going to help us. He's bring back drivers' briefings, so they are mandatory at race meetings now. We would like to kind of. I want to reduce the silly mistakes. There's sometimes some of the rolling starts you see. You look at it and you think, "Oh my word, that's how did we manage that?" And so we want to tidy that piece up, because we want the experience of the drivers and all the competitors to be as good as it possibly can be, from scrutineering to parc fermé to, even if they've been naughty, to see the clerk calls or whatever. Even if the clerk pulls them up to say, "Look, off you go, but you can get away with it this time, but off you go," or whatever, right? But that rapport there, we want them to be as part of the team as much as everybody else. So that's why we brought back drivers' briefings. They are mandatory for all drivers going forward. Certainly at the BARC meetings that we've got. It may not be the case. I have to check at Coombe and the brand summer meeting, because that's MSVR, but MSVR always insist on them anyway. But yeah, just trying to. Colin's worked very hard just building that team. That's the bit. Colin and I have a deal, which is that I run the club out of race meetings. When he's at race meetings, he runs it, because I'm normally racing. That's how it works. It's how it's always worked. If there's carnage that we all have to get involved with and go and speak to whoever, then we all get involved. But generally, that's his baby, and we don't cross over.
Okay.
So that's just this kind of the deal we have with each other.
Makes sense.
So yeah, drivers' briefing, just trying to tidy that whole piece up. I think it's always puzzled me how you can cause the same. Two people can cause the same offence and get two different. I can go over the white line and slam into the back of Craig Owen, and I'll get 2 points. Yet somebody else will do exactly the same thing, and they'll get banned from the meeting. It's like, well, where was the? So we want some kind of consistency just throughout. So that's what we're trying to drive towards. It's like pushing a rock up a hill, but that's kind of where we want to be with it. Because again, if you fix your foundation, that then brings people to the club, because they say, "Well, no, they're nice guys, they're fair, they do this, Absolutely. They do that." It takes away. People sometimes look at things and they make decisions based on cost, and that isn't necessarily the right decision when it comes to racing, because you're putting your life in other people's hands. I mean, you're door to door with people you barely know at 150 mile an hour.
And your money and your pride and joy and everything is being
Everything, yeah.
there, and I see it regularly. Obviously, I have the privilege of commentating pretty much every weekend, so I get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
I won't mention any bad and uglies, but you know, you get to start feeling the difference that the drivers are feeling about where they want to go, and they want to feel that responsibility, that responsibility to each other and what have you. And I think there's even the scrutineering, the briefing, even down to the basics of being able to turn around and go, well, we did tell you.
Yeah.
It suddenly gets removed one of those responses that you could potentially have someone trying on. You're able to go, guys, we did tell you. Whereas if
and
you
you
hadn't
signed
done
the piece
that,
of paper that said it, yeah.
correct, exactly right. So, I mean, it makes sense that's the case. Just quickly saying, Alan William Strachan said, good to see the club is about members and championships and not about making money.
Thank you very much.
Agree. A lovely comment to get there. Just confirming it is the Andy Lawrence I thought it was. Looking forward to it in July, the sprint. Tim Moran, absolutely agree with the all-inclusive reward for drivers. Great to see. What a nice comment. Thank you as well. So that,
No problem.
I know with the work that you guys put in, that would be great to see. Ross
Thank
Craig, I saw that you'd put a thumbs up. Hello, Ross. Welcome to the show. And he's put, brilliant idea this is. I'm not sure whether he's referring to the show, whether he's referring to your the driver's briefing, but we'll take it nonetheless, won't we? That's
I'll take any compliment. He knows that already.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you, Ross. So yes, I mean, I kept saying the wrong word there, and I think you did say it as well. Is that scrutineering as well is the other one now? It kind of disappeared because it had to during the pandemic, and even afterwards, it was sort of spot checks or whatever else, and now they're back, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll be scrutinying all cars, all meetings. Other people have made other decisions, other clubs, and I'll leave that to them to decide. That's none of my business as far as I'm concerned. But for us, it's the safety of our drivers, the safety of all of our drivers, and we won't compromise on that. We never will do.
Agreed.
And going back, you know, I have to stand in the rain. Maybe I'll get Colin to push the car, but yeah, I'll stand in the rain. But I'll stand in the rain in the queue like everybody else. It is a pain in the bottom, but it's the safest we can be.
See, it's weird that you say pain in the bottom and everything. I still remember one of the early things that I got involved in. Castle Combe was my local circuit, hence do an awful lot with them, and it's where my commentary career started as well as spectating. But one of my mates raced in the Castle Combe Special GTs, as it was called back then, and he was like in this bonkers Hillman Imp silhouette thing. And he suddenly realised I loved racing, and I got to go up there with him, and we'd camp over on the Friday night or the night before, and we'd be up at silly o'clock the next morning, pushing, because we couldn't start the engine, pushing the car to the scrutineering bay. And I still remember that to this day. Topped up your coffee, mate. I remember that to this day. I remember that to this day, pushing the car to the scrutineering bay. So it's not as negative as can easily be jumped on, in my opinion.
No, it's not. I think I view it in the same way as I view going through security at the airport, to be honest with you. You know, they're actually doing it for your safety, not for their own good. And if you flip it around that way, I know it's sometimes annoying standing there for a bit, but that's the decision that's been made. I do actually believe that actually came from a directive from Bark, and that's where we're going to go with it this year for now, anyway. So
good to see. Popular comments coming in regarding the driver's briefing. Craig Owen says drivers' briefings are so important. The clerk of the course at Silverstone made so many relevant points. Definitely worth listening to what they have to say and take in what they say. And I'd agree with that. Active listening, actually sort of taking it on board. And you might find there's some specifics to that circuit, specifics to the weather, specifics to people that are there, or anything particular. So it is worth listening. And I mean, Cavan said drivers' briefings are paramount to any new driver or any previous drivers returning. But I would equally say anybody, because there could be something track specific, event specific, or whatever else.
I agree. You know, even down to I did this a few years ago at Snetterton. Once you've finished, they normally you just kind of do half a lap, don't you? And they pull you in at the back of the pits.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't take any notice, just carried on and did a whole full lap, and then got pulled up for that one because I hadn't read the bloody paperwork.
Did you see the crowd doing the hand signal to you once they saw what you were doing as
I
well?
wondered what they were pointing at, saying doing this. I just waved. I thought they were fans, but you know,
And then you thought the spectators had coffee beans in their hands, didn't you?
It's quite a few of them as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I've done it, but yeah, we just want to bring it up a level, and that should be enough to show people that we're the place to race cars.
No, I like it. Well, still the comments coming in. AJ says, especially when you get told off by them, Craig Owen. So he's calling his dad out there. Tim says, have you pushed a 1.4 ton Jag before? Engines can run. Early scroots are the worst. Okay,
That's
Tim,
all right.
you got me there, Tim. In fairness, this little silhouette Hillman imp, you got me. That wasn't difficult to push. I do get that. But hey, what I guess I'm alluding to is there's going to be lots of slave labour there for you. Lots of kids that would happily get involved in that. Get them helping you, mate. I loved it when I was younger. It was special. Andy Lawrence from Bristol Motor Club, he says brief is so necessary because nobody reads the regs. Let's be honest, Stuart, that's one of the reasons for this show starting up as well.
Well, it is actually, to be honest with you, it was a sort of interactive show, but also to tell people, yes, we've got garages. No, you can't get in the circuit before 5 o'clock. Yes, you'll have a barbecue. So we just wanted to make the whole thing a bit more. It's like an educational discussion.
Because nobody reads the notes, do they? Nobody reads the notes.
Do you know what? I'm no recollection at event, Your Honour. But yeah.
Another one that's new, I believe it's new from the way I've not heard of it. Class W.
Yeah, so it was something that Colin and I were discussing significantly last year. There was the ability for people to turn up to race meetings, race, and affect championship outcomes. Not to anybody's fault. It was just the way it was written, the way it was done. So we decided to just put, if you're a weekend member, you're in Class W, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
Got you.
Or you pay your £99 and you're in the championship. But turning up and affecting the outcome of the championship, we needed to stop. And that's why we did it. So,
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I've done it where I've commentated, and you know that they're not there in the whole season. They've rocked up for this one race because it's their local circuit, their favourite circuit, or whatever it might be, and you just go, that's just detracting from the championship fight there. And it's difficult because they paid their money, they've got their right to race.
Those people are still welcome, and I'll be clear about that. They're still welcome. We love people. You know, you've got your Cadwell people, your Snetterton people, blah blah blah. You've got people only race at local circuits, and that's cool. And they're more than welcome to race with us. What we don't want is that accidentally affect the outcome of a championship.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not there for. It was just the way it was written in the club. So we just wanted them out really very quickly.
Well, I know that, for example, I'll be covering them this weekend at Donington Park on the mic, is GT Cup. I cover them an awful lot. And they have, we'll always have it on the entry list. They're all in, they are in the same classes, the GTO, the GT3, the GTC, GTH, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they get silverware. They get silverware from that if they finish in the top 3 in their class, or group, as they call it in GT Cup. But they don't take any points.
Yeah.
And what actually happens is that the points roll to those that are entered. And it's always clear on the entry list is it's got an asterisk. And I think it even says in brackets, a mental block now. I don't think it says guest. It might say guest. but it basically makes it clear that they can take silverware, but they can't take points.
Yeah.
And that's quite a good thing that's worked as well, because it just means we always know. And these might be ones that sort of like rock for a few races, but because they're not committed to the whole season, then it's just a bit different. And it is tricky, isn't it? You know, even as the commentator getting excited about the racing, I've sometimes fallen foul of kind of going, oh, it's ruined it. And I learned that the hard way once and vowed never to say that again. But someone took the ump. But there is a whole season that some people are vying for specifically, and
of course, there's lots of people in the club that race for a championship. We are probably one of the few clubs that continue, or certainly at our level, that run championships still. And people will go all over the countryside to get some points, and it's just not fair that someone would turn up and impact someone else's championship by no fault of anybody's. Just they just want to do a race, and so that's what we did. We did a Class W. You're in that if you're a weekend member. If you do it, a £55 member for the weekend, you're in Class W, and that's the end of it. So yeah, there's kind of the few things this year that we are looking at. We are looking heavily at the driving standards. Andy Mesham, who's online now, he's the club driving standards administrator. He was looking at the driving at the weekend. He was up in the booth. But we want people to feel that they can bring their pride and joy, come and race it with us. Because I think our club's in kind of two halves, really. There's people that are the racy racers. There's also a lot of people who are enthusiasts who just want to drive their classic car round and round. And there's a lot of there's a lot of everybody. And it's trying to bring those two together so they're safe and they're all happy. We've never been a Rubbing His Racing type club, and we've always, if that ever happens, we've always spoken to the drivers and given them a warning or whatever. After the meeting, they get a letter from me. But yeah, there's some focus on the whole event, just trying to tighten it all up, and help that. Hopefully, that will drive the club forwards.
I'm trying not to chuckle then at you saying they get a letter from you, because you make that sound like a letter from the Queen. And that would be completely the wrong thing, wouldn't it?
They do. I've got my wax seal goes on there. I've got it here.
And is it a photo of like that letter from the Queen?
It's a horse and cart collects them from the front, and they go in my royal carriage.
I apologise. I should be taking that very seriously, but my mind just suddenly went to that as soon as you said it.
You're getting a letter from me, Sue. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Hey, it's my mission too, mate. It's my mission too.
Fired.
Still got the thumbs up coming in. Vic Hope, welcome, Vic. Great to see you watching. And AJ said a letter from the Lord.
Don't.
Yeah. Letter from the big dog.
Don't.
Yes. Alan Williams-Stracken says it would be the king now.
Don't.
Well, it would, but that's why Stuart's from the Queen, so that's okay. I'm not calling you a queen.
Colin,
really. Sorry,
Colin threatened to buy a big fur jacket for me and a hat to wear at race meetings.
That would work. That would be brilliant.
He bought me a mayor's hat once. But anyway, so yeah.
They're dressing you up, mate. That's what it is. Another thumbs up. Anthony Clark, evening, mate. Welcome to the show. Great to see you. Again, keep the comments, keep the questions coming in. It's great. Before I move on to the weekend that just happened, anything else new? I got a feeling we've covered everything, but is there anything else?
Yeah, pretty much. We've kind of covered everything. For us, we want to try and keep costs down as much as we possibly can. You'll see certainly most of the rest of the race meetings are underneath the £400 mark, which I think £400 is where it starts to feel that it's biting. Even if it's £390 or whatever, it's still under that mark. There's a psychological block there. So we've tried to keep it under that mark as much as we possibly can going forward.
Barry Simons put evening. Barry has put a good comment in. What retro rides weekend?
Oh, I've
discuss?
not got to that yet. Barry. So we've got. Sorry, I'm going to digress massively, but you knew it would go like this anyway. I'll tell you what, this apple flavour tea strong. The Retro Rides, the guys at Retro Rides invited us along last year. Actually, very nice bunch of people. I wasn't really too aware of how the show went. They rent out Goodwood for the whole weekend. It's kind of a moving car show, I think would be the right way to put it.
Right.
And they've offered us track time. They did some bits and bobs, there was some demo runs and stuff, to some drifting, all the usual bits and bobs. On the Sunday, they do an auto solo type thing, and everybody sits and just chills out. It's one of them car shows where the camping car park is as good as the actual car show. We were walking around on a Friday night, and the cars were just these awesome cars just sitting in the field, if you like. And it's just a real good kind of chilled vibe, and it's like a really nice bunch of guys. I don't know how to really describe it. It was just pleasant, nice people. And Mark has kindly invited us back again this year to do some demo runs. He's given us space for about 30 cars, and we'll get some track time at Goodwood. They let us last time, because we all had our race licenses with us. They let us just basically go round and round and show off. They weren't really describe how it was really told to us. So I was in the Capri, quite as sideways as it will go through Magic, and we took the Mustang down there as well, and I managed to spin that around a few times. But it's just like a really chilled thing. There's no race suits on or anything. Just had crash helmets and hoodies and a pair of gloves, and off we went. And it's free. So if there are people that want to come down, get involved, Alan, as he's just commented, Alan was there. He brought the Mondeo Super Tourer down, which created a huge amount of interest. Just nice, just like nice, pleasant, few beers with friends. Everyone's chilled out. Nothing. The cars probably topped out sort of the 80s. There was nothing really that much older than that, other than the stuff that we brought along. But everything from low riders to drift cars to everything. Everyone was there, and everyone was cool. I liked it. I really liked it.
That does sound good. Which is a good point, actually, because that means that July. No, when is it?
It's May. So it fills the May spot.
Yeah, so there's no actual race meeting in May, but we'll still presumably do.
We looked at the calendar, and I've always felt that we've gone for 8 meetings the last few years, and 8 meetings is almost just too much, just a little bit too much.
Okay.
So we went with 7. Obviously, we've got the big one at Brand, so you've got both layouts, which is effectively 2 meetings in one. That was enough as far as I'm concerned. I think Retro Rides fitted nicely. They spoke to us about the dates. We get down on a Friday night, barbecue comes out, the beers come out. We have a little bit of a race round on Saturday and Sunday, and we all go home.
Oh, do you know what? I'm not even doing anything that weekend. I'm not booked to commentate, so I might.
We'll have a lovely bottle of Merlot with your name on it. So please do come down, and we'll put a passenger seat in the car, and I'll come and scare you for a little bit.
Don't. That's not necessarily sell it to me. I'm a wuss when it comes to that, bizarrely, but I get lots of chances, but it's weird. But I just love the sound of that. And it clearly was a good one. Obviously, we had Barry that bought up Retro Rides. Alan, we said it was a great fun weekend. Kevin Swan definitely was a good weekend. And James Ibbotson, hi James, loved Retro Rides. Can't wait for this year. It would appear, Stuart, that it's a very good call. So it was
great. It was one of them. We were invited to it before COVID, and then it was obviously everything stopped and no shows happened and the rest of it. And they came back to us last year, and it was kind of, I wasn't really sure what we were walking into. Didn't know how to describe it. You kind of turn up at these car shows, and we all dragged the cars down there, and Colin took my car, but we weren't really sure what we're doing. So this year we know, obviously we'll take the club gazebo down there, maybe a bit more merchandise, and make more of it this time, and try and sort of hook people in, if you like, into the club. It's not necessarily race people that are there, but they're people that enjoy old cars. And I think the way things are now, sort of on the highways, if you like, is the place to enjoy old cars is by racing them, really.
Yeah,
Unless you want to, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So,
oh, absolutely. Ross Craig has said, "Does a Civic count as retro?"
of course it does. Yes.
It's 8. And Ross, the good news is, mate, is that this might be live, but it stays recorded to watch back. So you've now got that sealed as evidence. So yeah, you're fine. You're fine. The governor said it's fine, so that's fine. Okay, so that's cool. Race retro, definitely something to look forward to again this year. And as I say, I'm quite intrigued by that one. The race. Oh, hang on. What's this? H. Harvey says an excellent weekend on and off the track. I think it was the off the track as well that was appealing.
I think it was
to
the
me
off the track, definitely from where I was standing with Age and Tom, particularly Tom. You see, he had an awful headache on the Sunday. I'm not sure what happened to him.
Sunstroke. That's all that
he
was.
He must have been at the sun. Yeah, he must have been at the sun.
I've used that one several times, mate. Definitely had to be that. Now, interesting, going back to a point that you made where you were trying desperately to keep the entry levels below the, sort of an invisible line of the £400. Silverstone, we know, is an expensive place to go and race, and therefore it meant, from what you were saying, that the entry fees were there, which you made a comment that you were really gutted with the entry numbers this weekend just gone. I said to you, the irony being is that, of course, those entry numbers are what a lot of clubs would be like killing for, frankly. But it's all relative, isn't it? It's what you got. That the numbers weren't quite what you wanted.
No, they weren't. It's as they say in the Italian job, he says it was a series of unfortunate events. We had something like 25 cars pull out of that event for all legitimate reasons, from, I can't get hold of tyres, to something's wrong, at home, family matter I've got to take care of. It just didn't go well. It was just, it wasn't what I thought it would be. I think Silverstone GP is one of those things. Once you've done it, and you can move on with your life.
Okay.
I'm not sure it's something that you revisit. Certainly in our cars, it's almost too long. It's almost too big. And I was watching some of the races, and there was a few close bits and bobs, through the field, but it wasn't like you would get somewhere like Brands Indy or Mallory or something, where you're on it all the time and everybody's chasing each other. And it just didn't work. It didn't work, and I won't be booking it again.
Right.
It's as simple as that. I
feel like I've stirred there.
No. I just sort of sat. You know what I'm like? I ponder about things. I always worry because they sort of, for some reason, I end up being a bloody front man. But it does worry me, because I do make the decisions at times. Obviously, with the committee, I should say. I shouldn't. It's not just a one-man show. But it wasn't what it annoyed me, because I thought it would be this big bang start, and it was too expensive, and we couldn't make it any cheaper than what it was. And it was too much money in a time where money's not floating around everywhere for everybody. And I think, again, breaking that £400 barrier makes people uneasy. So that's why, we took 124 cars there. Our record there was 100, and on the international circuit was about 155, I think. So yeah, if those cars hadn't pulled out, maybe. But again, everybody's got their reasons, and it's their private life. They can do what they like.
And I see it all the time. Is they have all winter to get ready, and they suddenly go, "Oh, I haven't got the car ready for the first race meet." It always makes me chuckle.
And people are not. People that are all very organised people. You're relying on somebody else to provide your tyres, gearbox, engine, blah blah blah, and they're then looking for their supplier, who's got to send the pistons, the rods, and then blah. And suddenly they've got to go and get their bit, and it just the supply
and
chain is just
yeah, a lot of people are getting issues with that, aren't they? With where they're struggling to get things from abroad, maybe, and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, a lot of people coming in. I mean, for example, Alan first of all said sorry, but he also said that it wasn't the cost. To be fair, just timing from our point.
yeah.
And it can be definitely that. Kevin Swan actually changed his message because he said it did go well, but he changed it to, hang on, coming up there, to definitely didn't go well for me. So I'm assuming that's the one rather than did. That's correct, because he's got
I've
both
no idea
messages.
what I saw. I'll have to ping him actually. I'll chat him afterwards. I have no idea what happened. So
But
I'll,
and you've got Tim Morant says spot on, Stuart. But to show the flip side, and this is where your challenge always comes in, is that underscore racing say I thought Silverstone was mega, and Cavan says enjoyed the GP circuit, but also gets where you're coming from as well. So they get it.
so
But equally, Big Hope says that's very disappointing to hear you won't be doing the GP again. I mean, don't forget that that's Stuart, the chairman, saying it at the moment, looking at it. Watch this space, you never know. But that's the thing. From a spectator and a photographer, John Creech. Evening, John. From a spectator's point of view, I agree about the Silverstone GP circuit being too long. I guess the incidents on Saturday with interruptions didn't help either. Still a wonderful mix of cars and fantastic liveries.
yeah,
Totally agree.
Yeah, and thank you, Jason, for those kind comments, and John and the rest of you guys. It was just you're trying to get a balance of things, and I think maybe it was too early. Funny enough, I was chatting to Colin earlier, and I said that maybe next year we'll start Easter or just after Easter. It's almost a little bit too early this year. The last couple of years, in fact, we'd actually raced 2 weeks prior. We actually started the second week of March last year, and it was on the international circuit at Silverstone, and it wasn't, it was quite pleasant. You had your coat on, the rest of it, but I wasn't there, but I saw on the live stream and it looked bleak. And I was talking to Sonia, and it didn't. There was, it didn't look wonderful. It has to be said. So, but anyway,
rather waterlogged at times, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we'll be back there.
And remember that of course there's 3 different variations of that circuit that can be used. So let's wait and see.
Absolutely.
James Ibbotson says I had every intention of being there, but engine wasn't ready in time, so I spannered for the new Imp driver instead. Another way that highlights what this club is like, in all honesty. And you wanted to know what Kevin's issue was. The throttle stuck flat out in qualifying, then snapped gearbox in the first race. That's was
not good, is it?
No. Age says pre-83s, both races were edge of the seat. Fantastic.
They were great races. They were fantastic races. It has to be said. And I was gutted not to be there. Because I thought Colin had worked very hard over the winter to make the car perfect, and it just wasn't to be. But there is Brands Indy, and it's my local circuit, so hopefully it'll be good. And already the numbers, it's looking very good. It's looking very positive for Brands, and I think it's going to be a very, very big meeting, actually.
Oh, good. Well, on that point as well, is don't forget, everybody, keep your eyes abreast, because on that week leading up to the Brands Hatch race, we'll do another one of these shows. Jump on, get the comments, get the questions, get your thoughts, what you're looking forward to, where you're at with your car, everything else on that front. And we'll be previewing fully the Brands Hatch weekend then, is the plan, isn't it, Stuart?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the idea of this podcast is to try and once we'll do it on the sort of Wednesday or Thursday, once the race entry is cut off. So we'll have all the entry lists and we can discuss who's entered, what's going on, who's leading the championship, etc., etc.
No, exactly, because that's the point, is we'll have points and everything like that, because by then they'll be on the point. Although I noticed that 2019, 2022 are on the website, but not 21 or 22.
I've got to update it. Sorry, that's my
it's 2
my
years
fault.
missing. But understandably, this weekend's isn't up there. But I knew that wouldn't be so. But by that point, we'll have those, and we'll be able to look at the championship. I can start working out who I'll be my drinking buddies at the awards evening come the end of the year, which again, as I say, I cannot wait. Alan makes a comment, says the club doesn't need to beat itself up. And backs that up by saying some meetings can't work for everyone all the time. That's a key point, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I get that. Look, I'm not that negative on it. I was just it just wasn't as loved as other meetings, and it just seems to have caught people off guard this year. People just weren't quite ready. So it is what it is.
It is, and then it still was, by other standards, it was good. Great to see the thumbs up still coming in. Anthony Clark, Matthew Howarth, Nigel Power, greetings to you all. And Age added his thumb up as well. Graham Bolt says, looking forward to my favourite circuit, Brands Hatch. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be epic round there. Yeah. And the big dog will be back out racing then, unless he's going to... He's going to faux COVID then again or something. I don't know.
But put some COVID in there or something will happen. Yeah, you know. You're just trying to get this big dog to stick, aren't you? You're just good.
Absolutely, mate. It will. That's it from my side. It is. You're the chairman, so the big dog.
Holly's watching this, right? So this is. I'm going to walk back into the house.
Sorry, Holly. Little dog. Is that better?
Come on now.
Well, I think we've covered everything at this stage, haven't we?
Yeah, we've managed an hour. How about that?
It is. You didn't believe it, did you? And I told you we'd be absolutely fine. I have to say to everybody, you know, kudos to Stuart for being here. We spoke again earlier today, and he sort of said that he'd been just not even able to get out of bed for what did you say, like 3 days solid or something. And I know I had it when I came back from commentating in Hockenheim over in Germany, and came back the tail end of that feeling really ill, and it just struck me for, I think I was testing positive for something like 10 days ridiculously. So be thankful you haven't got that, mate. But it hits you. And he was so going like, I'm not sure, am I? And I knew that he'd also have that sort of like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. It just, now you know, I told you, just give it a go. It'll feel good. And you've done well, mate. Brilliant job. Brilliant job.
Thank you.
I hope everybody has enjoyed it. We will be back. I'll confirm the date once we schedule it properly, but it is leading into that Brands Hatch weekend. Certainly be you and me, Stuart, won't it? And we'll see whether we'll have anyone else come that one.
Perfect. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to play out with an outro video. You stay online, Stuart, because we'll talk after it's gone off for everyone else. But thank you, everybody, for your comments, your questions, your thumbs up. I did get a weird angry face from John Austin, but sorry about that. Hopefully you pressed that by mistake. Thank you, Ross Craig put top job, gents. They are caring. Tim says, wishing you well, Stuart. Well done. AJ says, see you on the next one. See you there, mate.
Cheers,
and claps from Alan Williams-Strachan. Thank you so much for your comments, guys. It is so much better when you're all jumping in with your comments and questions. Let's play ourselves out with the outro. We'll see you on the next show. Cheers, guys.